David Farmer, here in Danville, Kentucky. I'm the resident artist, one of the four here at the Art Center in downtown Danville. This has been my studio for a number of years. I am an oil painter. I prefer that designation as opposed to artist. Artist takes a long. I'm not that expansive. I'm not a Renaissance man. I do oil paint. You can do anything with oil that you can do with watercolor. It's very versatile. It has a translucent quality. And it's a marvelous medium. I was born in Pulaski County, Kentucky. My ancestors settled in here in 1700, so I am a Kentuckian. Grew up in Corbin, Whitley County. All I wanted to do when I was born was draw. And I was attracted to, back in those days they had covers like the Saturday Evening Post and Collier's where there were beautiful illustrations of paintings and that sort of thing. And I tried to copy those. I copied comic strips. It was always the color, always the action. I was fascinated by that type of thing. I go to the movies I wanted to get up in I thought you could get close enough to the cartoons where you could get into them at one time. So after high school, I went to art school for a couple of years, Columbus, Ohio, Columbus College of Art and Science, thinking I wanted to be like Norman Rockwell. Do those paintings and that sort of thing. And commercial art. Everything had to be vocationally established. You just didn't leave and become an artist. You had to work in the coal mine or something. After 2 years, I learned a lot. I learned about oil painting. And that's how I got introduced to art. Really, I saw art in, of course, 2 years. And then I realized I was not going to be able do what was required to be a commercial artist. So I did not go back after 2 years. I joined the Army, which is not that dramatic a step considering the times. Most men were drafted anyway. So after the Army, after 3 years, then some drifting and occupational this and that. It was the 60s, so there was a couple of years that I'm not quite clear about it. I went to college on the GI Bill at Cumberland College, Williamsburg, and got a degree in English. But throughout all that, I could never forget what I wanted to do. It was an urge. It was just, people are born to be artists. People are born artists. People are born soldiers. People are born scientists. It's genetic. I think it's all genetic. Throughout my 30 years of employment with state government, I tried to paint. And then I came to realize, after retirement, I realized it's not the same. It's a commitment. An artist's best friend is a locked door. Well, that's true. I had to that and another. Talent is probably important, but equally important is time and space. I mean, you have to have that area where you can really decompress and really disappear, so to speak. You know, time stands, you just do not exist physically when you get into this type of thing. Hours upon hours of what you do. Worst fate an artist can endure is premature satisfaction. Don't listen to what grandma says about the world. You know, peer approval is important. I really developed later on through taking workshops after I retired. There's some good ones out there, personal workshops. You study with professional painters, and they take time and tell you this and that, what you need to improve. And I was encouraged to continue on. A lot of what I've done, painting, I don't go out looking for inspirational things. What I've done, a lot of painting comes through what other work I have seen through other painters. I see brush strokes, I see, Monet, even everything. And then I go out and see nature, and I think make the connection. The way the sunlight hits the roof, the structure of the trees, the overgrowth, all that is texture. And then the sky. See, you've got the elements of atmosphere, you've got rock walls, that's good, contrasting. There's just a whole host of textural and compositional elements that really make it interesting, where people want to look at it and look again and again and come back. You know, every time they look at something, they kind of see it again. That's what a painting is. Energy is what it is. It's every time you look at it, you see something different, as opposed to an illustration, which may be well drawn and well defined, but it's just that. And it's a quest. It's never enough. And I think every artist ought to ask that question. You look at what you did 2 years ago and ask, am I better than that? If you're not, you need to ask some questions of yourself. I like the way buildings, these old buildings all over, for some reason this intrigues me, the way man's handicraft is integrated with nature. Nature's always, you know, it's over here. Nature's healing, it always comes back, and these buildings disintegrate. And you drive by these places, these old homes, like down in Casey County, for instance, you see these abandoned homes. If you have any kind of a sensitive eye or sentiment, you think, what went on in there? How many families? And these old stores that are collapsing, they have an evocation. It causes you to think about man's past and where you're going. Please subscribe to Art Stories and you will have a chance to win this.